Welcome back on deynonmod. Today I want to propose you a video about the unboxing review about the Underworld box that contains 4 squads, 4 bands of the Underworld, and this has been released by the shop in October 2025. We've seen something similar the previous year, that it was about this one, that it's about the Revenant of the realms. So it's combined with two, almost all the part about the Underworld squads, a bit about the death has been released. Remember that there are also for the other faction anyway, and I'm quite curious because I'm curious about the next year if they will publish again something like this, because it remains about here the Sepulchral Guard, that it's about Underworld that could be reprinted, but maybe the shuffle about this, they add something maybe from Warcry. It would be quite interesting, sincerely, because there has been quite a lot of interesting parts about this, and these make you save quite a lot of money. In my opinion, are even better than the Xmas boxes, because here you have some squad, we have 4 squad each. Remember that if you're interested about the previous one, you can find the link in the description eventually for the unboxing. And here, so we have the box that sincerely I quite like, and eventually remember that this you could cut off the images and use, because it could be nice and eventually. But we can see about the squads that are inside. So we have these that are the Exiled dead, that sincerely I quite appreciate, they are not bad at all. But there are zombies with this that it's a necromancer. Sincerely I quite like, not my favorite squad sincerely, but not bad. Then we have here the Skinnerskin that are a little about the Flesheater curse, and so we have this that it's an aberrant, so it's quite nice. And here that eventually could be used as a royal decapitator eventually. Okay, anyway, I quite appreciate, sincerely they are really not bad. These ones really quite similar about having tormented the royal guard, so not bad. Then we have here this one that are the Thorns of the Briar Queen, that are one of the oldest squads about the Nighthaunt for, and eventually also about Underworld, and I quite appreciate it. I never had this, so I'm quite glad to have more about the Queen, that it's quite amazing. And I have my favorite one, the one that is the reason why I decided to buy this box, that are the Son of Velmorn. This has never been released separately, so it's really quite interesting that way. Instead, these ones we have seen something in the Mortarian, that it was from the chat, in the way that it had the various issues and so on that were related about the Stormcast Satanas and the Nighthaunt, never arrived in Italy. So it's really quite interesting. I quite love, and really these ones are the reason cause I bought this box. And since I suggest you to think about buying this box, cause it's 80 euros for the box, that if you count as discount you can have for 60 euros. And it's really quite amazing, because if you think you have 4 squads, okay, and each of these separately usually it costs about 33-35 euros discounted. So having everything together, you can simply say that you have 2 squads paid, usually normal one, and even saving in that case, and 2 free, or eventually even in the best situation you have 3 squads and 1 free. So it's not bad at all, and moreover you have all related, because usually, for example, about the Sons of Velmorn has been released with another squad from another army that I was not interested about, so it's really quite better in such a way. I quite appreciate. So now let's open the box and see the contents. So let's start to see about the miniatures that are inside. Here have these that are the Nighthaunt with the Briar Queen squad, that it's simply amazing, and see that each of these squad has a different color about plastic, so eventually you can deploy them, but remember that it's better to use always the priming before painting, so that it's nice. But anyway, I quite like, because it's a way to distinguish them immediately, so not bad, this one. Then we have this that is related about the Flesheater curse with this green, and they are really fantastic. Admire the amount of detail that they have, it's really quite wonderful about. Here then we have this that it's the part about the Sons of Velmorn with the part of the skeleton, so this white bone available, and these are really quite fantastic. I think that they are quite difficult to modify eventually, but they are like this, so eventually if you buy a second one you can think about change something or so on, or you can have a bit of fun, but it's quite intriguing. I quite like, and they are easy to assemble, but amazing models. Then here we have the part about the cards, about to play, so remember that we'll see quite close about this one quite soon. And then we have this, that with this white, that white, it's the part about the zombie and the necromancer. So, okay, not bad, sincerely. And here we can make a comparison with, eventually, the ones that are the normal zombies and so on, but okay, we see quite soon about something to make a closer aspect about these ones. So let's open the part about the cards. Okay, it's quite nice. Sincerely, I want to keep this. We can find, so here, the instruction about how to build up the models. That could be quite nice if you want to study how to modify and so on. Eventually, could be quite nice as a developer. So not bad, in my opinion. It's quite simple to build up these models, but better to have these things. And then here we have the various cards that could be used. So it's quite nice. Eventually, you can modify these ones to play with them in the way that you can use, for example, for other games. Maybe cutting off this or cover the part about the external part and add the part of example for Age of Sigmar and so on. So it's nice, and I quite like the designs, so not bad. Obviously we have for all the squads, and then we have these that are the cards about the rules and so on. So it's okay, something that you should have in various languages, so it's not a problem, so you can choose which one you prefer and so on. And okay, obviously, if you're interested about to play with such things, otherwise these are, as you can see, almost useless. But eventually you can modify. So take, for example, a card, put here, and put the other rules, for example, here to describe, or create something, for example, some description about the background of the model, because you want to use this not as Son of Velmorn, for example, but something else. So it has quite a lot of potential. Let's now make a fast comparison of these with, for example, this zombie that come from the set of the Cursed City, but this one from Cursed City is practically the new version of the zombie. We can see that there is, okay, a bit of difference, but as quality it's quite the same. These are recalling more about the old version about the zombies, still much slimmer. Instead, about here, the necromancy, it's recall quite a lot ones that we can see from the set of the Genestealer Cult Patriarch. So it could be the Magos at least. So it's quite nice, I quite like, and they are really quite dynamic. So I quite appreciate, because for example, see this one that it's really quite interesting. I quite like about this combined with the other classical one are not bad at all, eventually, if you want to mix them together. So not bad at all. Moreover, I was in need about an Necromancer, so quite welcome. Then we can compare these Sons of Velmorn that sincerely could be really quite easily compared with Waking and the Barrow Guard. But if we compare with the classical skeleton, we can see that it's quite better. These ones are quite more defined, even if this, as always, it's really quite charming. Then we can compare with a normal skeleton from Cursed City, and we can find that it's not bad at all, in my opinion. Same for the Sepulchre Guard eventually, but I think that the ones that you had to compare eventually are the one that could be called from Blood, that are quite armored. Okay, this is a little modified, but give you the idea. But moreover, with, for example, Halgrim for the Waking, because this can show you that it has quite a lot of potential. But the standard Son, okay, except the one that it's really bigger, we can compare with the Barrow Guard new one, because it has a quite similar stylish, and I quite like. So eventually these models could be coming to be a sort of champions for the units, could be really quite nice. They have quite a lot of potential, so it has really quite intriguing. These, I repeat, are my favorite unit of this set, and the one that I must load and wanted. Then we have the part about the Flesheater Curse, and here we can compare, for example, with the previous Underworld that is with this model that can give you quite an intriguing way to understand, that are quite amazing, sincerely. So these ones are really quite intriguing, that can be really combined with the other box of Underworld, so that you can have quite an interesting squad, really, or eventually create modify a song, because you can. I said that, for example, you have the possibility to convert in a Royal Decapitator. This one eventually could be a Gore Warden, even if the Gore Warden is much better, okay? But really, you have really quite a lot of interesting options, and you can have fun, because you can really try to change little things to create something completely new, and not bad. Even by themselves are something that could be quite nice. Obviously, you can use as a squad for Underworld or separately, but I think that they have quite a lot of potential for some conversions and so on, in my opinion. And then we had the Nighthaunt. Here we had the Chainrasp that could be used as Chainrasp, or we could modify them a little, because they have quite a lot of potential, in my opinion, so it's something that could be used for other things. And the Barrier Queen could be used, for example, for being other mods, because we can use, for example, a female version and so on to personalize, or maybe like a Banshee. Okay, the Banshee, technically, with the 4th edition Nighthaunt Battletom has been removed, but why not use as a champion for the other units, or convert it so that you can reuse for other things. Maybe not as Lady Linder, but maybe to create something peculiar for your own. You can use it for Path to Glory, so on. It's a pity to leave it around out, so it's not bad. So you have quite a lot of potential here that could be quite nice. So something that you could think and imagine about. So to say about such box, sincerely I love, because it's an amazing opportunity to have back some others, some squads that was out of production for even years, and now they are back and available. And also a way to have squads, for example the Sons of Velmorn, that were available in boxes that were with other pieces that you were not interested about. So it's a great opportunity. Moreover, being about faction, you can have the opportunity to start eventually some other armies, because about this, it's amazing, because it's about death, so they are quite interconnected. So it's not bad at all if you think about. But even if you think about having models that you are not interested, could be converted, could be used, eventually used as Dogs of War or so on. So it's really quite nice, because you can create, you can personalize, you can have models for Path to Glory if you want to start with. So a lot of different options that are really quite amazing, and I quite like. Moreover, because you can save quite a lot of money. Even think about buying 2 squads, or even think about, for example, the set that were with the Sons of Velmorn. It was saving money buying these, because I had the Sons of Velmorn and other 4 squads that I was much more interested than the opponent one. Okay, it was amazing because it was Sylvanite in that way, but I prefer this. So I think that it's really quite nice, and really I think that it's quite intriguing, and I hope that you in the future will keep this available, so that you want to buy this box, okay, it's available, or in the future there will be a reprint, so that maybe they change reshuffle the squads, could be nice. Maybe also it would be interesting about having like this, but also for Warcry, Blood Bowl. Okay, I'm dreaming, but I found it about this box much better than the ones that are lit about the Christmas boxes, for example. So they have quite a lot of amazing potential. Sincerely, okay, there are not too many miniatures, because we can see that here we have 24 miniatures, and in other factions we have even less. But they are really quite amazing miniatures, because they are really fabulous about, and I appreciate. Anyway, I'm curious about your opinion for this box, or this box if you bought another one. So eventually let me know if you choose another faction, because you were really quite amazed by this. Anyway, from deynonmod it's everything. I invite you to subscribe to the channel, to ring the bell so to receive notification about new video, to comment under here about this video, or if you want to suggest me new videos. So I hope to see you again to the next time.